something happened in women's basketball that nobody saw coming. It started as a simple question about Duke's rough start to the season, but within hours, it exploded into a nationwide debate that put Team USA, Sue Bird, Kara Lawson, and especially Caitlin Clark on the brightest spotlight we've ever seen. Fans weren't just curious. They were panicking. A college team struggling at 3-3 suddenly became proof to the internet that Sue Bird had made a disastrous coaching decision, one that could threaten Team USA's dominance just as Caitlin Clark prepares to take center stage. And once that fear caught fire, there was no stopping the tidal wave that followed. Today, we're breaking down what really happened, why the outrage started, who fueled it, and why. Despite all the noise, the truth paints a very different picture of the future Team USA and the rising era of Caitlin Clark. Before we go deeper, drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Team USA fans actually be worried, or is this panic completely overblown? The uproar began with something seemingly small. Duke's surprising struggles early in the college season. Losses to unranked teams like South Florida and West Virginia had fans scratching their heads. But once people realized Kara Lawson, Duke's coach, was also the newly announced head coach at Team USA, the tone online shifted dramatically. Suddenly, this wasn't about Duke at all. It became a referendum on whether Sue Bird had made a catastrophic mistake hiring Lawson to lead America's most iconic basketball team, especially the team featuring Caitlin Clark, the most scrutinized player in the sport. The concerns weren't whispered, they were shouted. Social media lit up with posts demanding explanations. Analysts sparked debates on every platform, and fans began spinning worst-case scenarios. The sentiment was clear. If Duke is struggling, how can Lawson possibly handle Team USA? The internet treated that 3-3 record as undeniable evidence that disaster was looming. But the reaction didn't stop there. It morphed into something bigger, something rooted in fear. Fear that the future of American basketball was suddenly in the wrong hands. What many critics failed to understand was a fundamental difference between coaching in college and coaching at the national team level. In college, so much of team success comes down to recruiting, year-round, non-stop recruitment battles. You can be a brilliant strategist, but if your roster isn't stacked, your season becomes an uphill climb. And yet, somehow, fans treated Duke's early season losses as ironclad proof that Lawson couldn't lead a roster full of Olympians and generational talent. But here's the thing, Kara Lawson doesn't have to recruit for Team USA. That entire argument about Duke collapses in seconds. Team USA already has a talent, superstars, veterans, rising icons, and the most marketable athlete in the world, Caitlin Clark. Her job isn't to chase recruits, it's to coach the greatest collection of talent the sport has seen in years. And that truth, the actual reality of international basketball, was completely ignored in the online panic. While critics were tearing down Lawson over a college record, experts and insiders began pushing back. They reminded people that international coaching is a completely different environment. Team USA coaching is about leadership, trust, communication, and maximizing world-class athletes who already know how to win. This isn't college. Lawson isn't dealing with 18-year-olds learning to adjust. She's coaching seasoned professionals, players who live and breathe high-pressure moments. Yet none of that mattered to the internet mob demanding chaos. And then there was a Caitlin Clark factor, a gasoline-on-the-fire moment that magnified everything instantly. Once fans realized Clark would be on the training camp roster, the scrutiny doubled overnight. They weren't just watching Lawson. They were tracking every move involving Clark. Every clip, every comment, every rumor became a spark for a full-blown viral event. Clark isn't just a player. She's a global phenomenon, someone whose impact extends far beyond basketball. Her presence in the Team USA setup turned every coaching decision into a potential headline. One tiny detail even went viral: Clark wearing number 17. Fans, more accustomed to her iconic 22, spiraled into debates over symbolism, respect, and whether the number choice hinted at deeper locker room politics. That's how intense the spotlight is around Clark. Even a jersey number becomes a national talking point. But here's the reality, one that many missed. Sue Bird didn't make this decision lightly. As a managing director of USA Basketball, she's not someone who rolls the dice without deep research and trust. Lawson has earned respect at every stage of her career, as a player, as an analyst, and as a coach. Sue Bird chose her with complete confidence. To suggest that this choice was made off a few early Duke results is not only unfair, it misunderstands everything about how Team USA operates. And let's look at the actual training camp roster, because it tells a powerful story. It's loaded, absolutely loaded. Paige Bueckers, Aaliyah Boston, JuJu Watkins, Angel Reese, Jackie Young, and of course, Caitlin Clark. This is a once-in-a-generation talent pool, a legitimate dream team in progress. A roster this stacked doesn't need to be recruited. It needs to be directed, led, organized. That's where Lawson comes in. The shift happening in Team USA is impossible to ignore. We're watching the beginning of a monumental changing of the guard, a move away from the veterans who defined the last era toward a modern, dynamic wave of young stars who reshaped the popularity of women's basketball entirely. The 2026 and 2028 Olympic cycles will likely showcase players who were built for the spotlight. Clark, Bueckers, Watkins, Reese, athletes whose presence alone draws millions of new fans. The comparison to the legendary 1992 men's team isn't perfect, but the cultural impact might be even greater. Not because of shock value, but because of visibility. These women have millions of fans already. Their clips go viral instantly. Their matchups dominate headlines. This team is stepping into a global stage with a level of public attention the sport has never seen before. One moment that added fuel to the online fire was a promotional graphic featuring Kelsey Plum, Kalia Copper, and Jackie Young, not Caitlin Clark. That sparked a frenzy. Analysts like Christine Brennan insisted Clark should have been the face of the graphic. Others argued it was meant to highlight Olympic gold medalists, not new invitees. But the controversy proved something undeniable. Anything involving Caitlin Clark becomes an instant national debate. The public demand for her visibility is overwhelming. Every detail, every omission, every highlight, every quote becomes dissected and distributed across social media within minutes. That's the level of influence she carries. But let's get back to the actual coaching situation, because this is where the panic really loses its footing. Lawson will not be coaching this team alone. The support staff surrounding Team USA is enormous. Assistant coaches, court coaches, scouting teams, analytics specialists. Names like Natalie Nakase, Nate Tibbetts, and Stephanie White are already in the mix for training camp support. USA Basketball invests millions into ensuring the head coach isn't isolated. It's a collaborative powerhouse effort. So the idea that Lawson would be overwhelmed or unprepared because of Duke's record ignores the entire infrastructure of Team USA. This isn't a college program trying to rebuild. This is a national machine designed to dominate. Even internationally, the stakes have changed. Other nations like France have improved dramatically, pushing the U.S. harder in recent competitions. Team USA can't afford even a hint of dysfunction, which is exactly why the leadership selections are made so carefully. Trust matters, experience matters, chemistry matters. Which brings us to the one point everyone agrees on. Caitlin Clark will almost certainly be the starting point guard, barring injury or something unexpected. The consensus among insiders is clear. This team will revolve around her. Her vision, her passing, her shooting, her understanding of pace and space, she's built for the international game. And that fact alone elevates the pressure on Lawson. Coaching Clark isn't a challenge, it's an opportunity. But it comes with the highest expectations imaginable. Yet the most fascinating takeaway here is that the viral outrage about Lawson seems, when you break it down, to be massively exaggerated, maybe even misplaced. Duke's record doesn't translate to Team USA. Recruiting doesn't matter here. The roster is stacked. The support staff is enormous. The leadership trust is firm. And the future of Team USA isn't built on fear. It's built on generational talent. We are watching the rise of an unprecedented moment in women's basketball. A new era, a new focus, a new spotlight. And Caitlin Clark stands at the center of all of it, an athlete whose presence alone fuels global conversation. The real story isn't about coaching doubts. It's about a super team being assembled around a megastar whose impact transcends the sport entirely. And as we move toward 2026 and 2028, that spotlight will only grow brighter.